and let us all do what we can to build a better future.
Pete Buttigieg, you're in charge of Department of Transportation. What are you doing, buddy? You on your vacation again, or are you on a vacation from your vacation? What's going on in your office, buddy? And I'm tired of the excuse of, oh, the other administrations did this, so we're doing the best we can. Okay, people get that, but you still got to do your job. And there's a lot of things that are happening under your watch that are putting the safety of the American public at risk. Already now, there was a fifth near collision between planes on an airport runway in 2 months. Now, the thing is, let's face it, there's been a lot of problems with transportation. There's been a lot of problems with train derailments, airlines, and so much more. And this is an example of an infrastructure crumbling and falling apart, and someone who's put in charge that doesn't know what they're doing. And there's a lot of factors to take into account here. You have a lot of these pilots, train conductors, workers at both airlines and railways that are, well, being burnt at both ends. They're suffering, they're struggling, and people are only human, and there is no relief in sight, all while the corporations are earning in huge amounts of profits to cut back on regulations, to buy off politicians to make sure that no one will regulate them. I want to pull up this video here from Case Study QB. Shout out to him. Please follow him on social media. He's wrongly being censored. He does phenomenal work, and I honestly have to say at this point, folks, when it comes down to these near collisions between planes and these train derailments, all of us should be scared and concerned. Now, this is a video from CNN, and there's our good friend Don Lemon. So bear with me. If I had to sit through it, you got to sit through it.
With yet another disaster at one of America's busiest airports. The FAA is now investigating 5 near misses between planes in just 2 months. 5 near misses between planes in just 2 months. The latest close call was in Boston. It happened on Monday night. Air traffic controllers stopped a private jet from taking off and running into a JetBlue flight that was coming in for a landing. It comes just weeks after a FedEx cargo plane nearly landed on top of a Southwest flight in Austin, Texas. Federal investigators.
Hey, let's have democracy in the chat. Now, I know our favorite Kryptonian, Superman, would always say, remember, statistically speaking, flying is the safest way to travel. Do you feel safe flying right now? Type 1 for yes. Yeah, sure. Buckle me up. I'm ready to go on an adventure. Type 2, like, no, I'm a little worried here, folks. I'm a little scared here. Things are not cash money.
They say that they were both cleared to take off and land on the same runway. The FedEx pilot was the one who told the Southwest crew to abort. They came within 100 feet of each other. Just weeks ago, there was a close call in Honolulu. The NTSB, National Transportation Safety Board, says a United Airlines flight crossed a runway in front of a cargo plane that was landing. And days before that, an American Airlines jetliner crossed a runway where a Delta Airlines flight was taking off at New York's JFK Airport. Pete Montine on top of the story, the very latest on this close call. One is way too many, but now we have a series. What is going on, Pete?
Well, the big question here, Don, is why all these incidents are coming to light right now. The NTSB not investigating this one just yet, but we do have some very key and clear details. From Flight Radar 24, they've reviewed preliminary details which say that these two flights came within 560 feet of each other. This was a very close call.
Yeah, and it happened 5 times already. What's going on here? What's happening, Pete? This is your department. Things are falling apart, and they've been increasing ever since.
It is the latest incident of a near collision at a major airport. Monday night, a JetBlue flight and a private Learjet nearly running into each other on crisscrossing runways at Boston Logan International Airport.
This was a mistake that was made by the pilot, and it was caught by air traffic control, which is their job. So they were able to catch it.
The Federal Aviation Administration says as JetBlue Flight 206 was coming into land on runway 4 right, the Learjet took off from the intersecting runway. Air traffic control recordings detail the pilot of the JetBlue flight being directed to abort its landing, the FAA classifying the move as evasive action.
Middle land 4 right, JetBlue 206.
JetBlue 206, correct. 265, runway heading, maintain 3000.
Runway heading up to, sorry, what's it again, the altitude?
3000.
3000, JetBlue 206.
Worse yet, the FAA says the Learjet did not have takeoff clearance. Instead, the crew was told to line up and wait on the runway for the landing JetBlue flight. The FAA says the Learjet pilot read back instructions clearly, but began a takeoff roll instead. Air traffic control brought the JetBlue flight back in for a landing, all on board unharmed.
The pilots did a really incredible job.
Yes, the pilots did do an incredible job. However, what's happening? What's happening right now with our entire infrastructure? Pete Buttigieg, this is happening under your watch. You know, what are these politicians waiting for? Another crisis so he could do thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers? Here, let's talk about train derailments right now. There was one that took place in Florida where, again, one car was supposedly carrying, or at least reportedly carrying, 30,000 gallons of propane. And crews are using infrared cameras to monitor the propane tank. So in other words, if something goes wrong, kaboom, because not only planes are potentially at risk of colliding into each other, but hey, look, folks, more train derailments. More of them happening. Here it is. That just took place in Florida. Pete, this is under your watch. What's going on, Pete Buttigieg? Can you care to enlighten the people about what is going on, what is happening? Do you wish to inform the people? Because this isn't right. Here's another example. Again, the same footage taking place in Florida. Our same wonderful former mayor of South Bend, Indiana, Mayor Pete Buttigieg. This took place under his watch. And look at our entire railway system. This is one of many that are collapsing. This is your community at risk. This is your neighborhood at risk. Look what's happening to the people of East Palestine, Ohio. History is repeating itself. Every day right now, we're seeing more train derailments. Again, they're intensifying because we have a crumbling infrastructure. We have politicians and sociopaths that don't care about us. Now, look, I played this on yesterday's show, but I'll play it again. Here's BSDNC talking about the difference between, well, semi-trucks failing and trains derailing.
East Palestine train derailment and the chemical spill it caused raised some renewed questions about the safety of rail travel and using it to transport toxic chemicals. Just how safe is shipping toxic?
Lana X writes, these tracks were built before Lincoln got murked, on God. Can't argue with you on that one. You're correct. And in fact, many of the brake systems for all these trains are antiquated as well. We don't have an updated railway system. You know, when I was in Japan in 2020, I was on their high-speed railway system, very proficient, on time, always get you from point A to point B. And I was speaking to my friends and family members that were living in Japan. You know what they told me? They're planning on updating their trains. Now, let's face it. If you haven't been on one of these bullet trains, these things are high class. I like them. I'm going to do my Trump impression. They're incredible. They're great. They're really awesome. I think they're perfect. And they're going to update them. We haven't updated our stuff in years. In years.
Toxic cargo by train? The answer? It's somewhat complicated. Let me show you. Train derailments overall have actually been going down over.
No. Don't be playing this upbeat music like I said before. Again, 1,311 down to 1,049. That's still a high number. And it looks like from this bar up until right here, I guess in, what was it, 2019, 2018, I guess. The image is a little blurry right there. But looks like they increased. So there was slight increase, a little bit of a decrease, then shooting way up. Still 1,049. That number's too high, buddy.
For the last 10 years, we had over 1,300 derailments in 2013, just over 1,000 in 2022, about 3 a day. Good news is not all these train derailments are trains carrying hazardous material.
And again, I'm just going to play it again. I hope all of you listen to this very carefully. Listen how he worded that.
Good news is not all these train derailments are trains carrying hazardous material.
Hazardous material. Guess what? Trains pull a lot of other stuff there, Chucky boy. Oh, I don't know, like cattle, other, industrial material. There's another thing that trains also do. Oh, yeah, they move people. Some of those train derailments, had passenger cars in them. Just throwing it out there. So that's not good news there, buddy. Why did you word it like that? I hope the producer pulled you inside and yelled at you. Like, why'd you word it some good news? A lot of those train containers didn't have hazardous materials in them. The train derailment wasn't like there was no chemicals or other dangerous things. There were people. Did people die? Were people severely injured? Hello? I kind of like to know a little bit more about that. This is the media here in America. Just one more time so all of you can hear it.
2013, just over 1,000 in 2022, about 3 a day. Good news is not all these train derailments are trains carrying hazardous material.
Right here.
Now, though, let's compare hazmat spills on railway incidents. So we had 667 hazmat spills in 2013 on the tracks, railroad tracks. It's down to 355 in 2022. So you can see it's actually been getting safer by rail. Now, contrast that by hazmat spills on the highways. Look at this. In 2013, we had nearly 14,000. It's actually been going up.
Yeah, again, this is just terrible. This is terrible news across the board. So we got semi-trucks crashing because we got these truck drivers working day and night, no rest. It's a tough job, but I mean, they're people too. Their bodies need rest too, but it's growing. It's intensifying. All these numbers are bad. All these numbers are frightening.
We had over 23,000 hazmat spills by highway, just 355 by train. So clearly, safer to do this and better to do this by train, right? Well, you start to look at it financially, it's a different story. Let's take 2022 as an example. There were over the 23,000 incidents that happened on highways. The cost of those cleanups, $21 million. The 355 incidents by rail, cost of that was more than double that, $45 million. Now, why is that? It's mainly due to one large rail spill in May. It was a train carrying petroleum products that derailed in Harmar Township, Pennsylvania. Spilled over 3,000 gallons into a creek, cost over $30 million in damages. By the way, the rail operator of that train, none other than Norfolk Southern, the same one behind this month's incident in East Palestine.
So how about interviewing the politicians that are bought by, the train corporations? The ones that buy our politicians thanks to Citizens United and the McCutcheon decision where money is speech and corporations are people. Any of the news industry is going to really call them out. Oh, wait, that's right. I forgot. The same people who buy our politicians also control our media. Again, I want to quote Edward Heller on this. The good news is most of these disastrous derailments didn't also contribute to destroying the ecosystem. Tuck Chad. Again, this is absolutely insulting. And it's a huge injustice to the American people because we have people in charge that don't care. We have people in charge that want to kick the can down the road and point fingers and blame each other or blame their predecessor for the failings that are currently happening. And where was Pete Buttigieg? Where is he at? How come he's not doing his job? How come he seems indifferent? Look at the footage of Pete Buttigieg in East Palestine, Ohio. Does it look like somebody who cares? Does it look like somebody who actually wants to do the job? He looks very tired. It looks like he's not getting enough vacation time. It looks like that he doesn't really rest that well. I mean, I hope Pete Buttigieg is okay. I hope this administration is going to do something for the people of Ohio. And all the other communities that have had train derailments carrying hazard materials. I hope this administration does something. But oh wait, Biden's in Ukraine. Now, just a bold prediction here in regards to how 2024 will play out. This election, or what will happen in 2024, is this is a perfect time for somebody like Trump or any of the other potential Republican candidates to take advantage of the people's anger. And before anyone types in the comment section below, oh no, Biden has this, the Democrats have this, they won. No, they really didn't. They won by the skin of their teeth. Biden's dentures, to be more precise. The unfortunate truth is this: popular vote means nothing in the United States. The Electoral College supersedes the popular vote. And I urge all of you to remember this, to use this when you hear these vote blue no matter who people yelling and spitting in your face, telling you, oh, you're racist or you're misogynist or you're a Trump supporter. No. The real truth is we have a screwed up electoral process in this country, and the Electoral College supersedes popular vote. Now, these train derailments, I just want to mention they're happening all over the country, but let's use Ohio and Florida because I played a video from Florida, and of course we did some coverage talking about what's happening in East Palestine, Ohio. Ohio and Florida are key electoral college states. The fact that the Democrats are not doing anything and could potentially lose these two states says a lot about their mindset and how they really care about the voters and constituents there. And it'll become as no shock to me, specifically in Ohio, if the Democrats lose absolute control in that area and that state goes red during the 2024 general election. It's understandable. And when you have people like Joyless Joy and other neoliberals saying the people of Ohio deserve that, voters are going to remember that. Especially when you have all these vote blue, no matter who, sycophants saying, oh, we got to support Biden or whoever the Democratic nominee is going to be because we got to stop Trump or whoever the Republican nominee is going to be. We really want to make a difference. Don't vote Democrat. Don't vote Republican. Look at all these disasters that's been going on throughout the years. The absolute mismanagement to this country. It's been happening under both Democratic and Republican presidential administrations, and all the Democrats in the United States Senate and House are bought and sold by the top 1%. We need to start supporting citizen ballot initiatives, abolishing all political parties, and getting money out of politics, because no one in Washington, D.C. is going to help us. Just look at how Pete Buttigieg is treating the people. Look at how he's running the Department of Transportation. Does that look like somebody you trust? Ask the people of South Bend, Indiana, how they feel about Pete Buttigieg.